Okay, and as usual, hey everybody, it is 3 o'clock Central Standard Time. So y'all know what that means. It is time for Book Talk Live. Today is a very, very special episode because I have one of my coaches from the Celebrity Youth Program, Miss Lori A. McNeil. She is a motivational speaker. She is a business strategist. She is a five-time international bestseller. She is the list of titles can go on and on and on. She is phenomenal, and she is impacting lives across the world. But the reason that she is on today is because she is going to share a few additional tips with you all about business. So before we get into it, I just wanted to allow her to introduce herself. Coach, how are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm fabulous. This is so great. Thank you so much for inviting me to be on this very special segment as we're going to be talking about business strategy and how to best utilize books. So I am excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you for being here. It's an honor. If y'all can't tell, I'm not normally one that's shy for words, but when you actually interview your coach, along with Robert Moore, when I interviewed him, it's so amazing. So um tell the people a little bit more about you. I just gave them a brief introduction, and I can go through a lot of a long list of hundreds of places that you've been featured, that you have been, from magazines to news articles to television, radio, podcasts. But you've also done some amazing stuff before that. So if you can share a little bit of your story of how you got here.
Sure, absolutely. So I am actually a retired business professor of 23 years in the field of education, teaching hundreds and designing hundreds of different business programs for universities across the country in both undergraduate and graduate. So I had a very, very filling career in business and in education before completely switching gears after retirement to do what I do now full time, which is I'm an international business strategist and media strategist and coach. And I literally travel the world speaking on stages and helping people across the globe. Except for in recent years, of course, I've had to switch gears myself and do that pretty much virtually, which has been an amazing experience for me and something new, stepping into even deeper than I expected my own business strategy to entail. So that's been really fun and really great. I have written and co-written many books and continue to do so on a regular basis. I myself am featured in magazines and in media outlets over 500 times a year. And I currently speak on 15 to 17 summits a month. And you're right, the list goes on and on. I love what I do, and I love and feel so blessed by the fact that I get to get out of bed every single morning and help people all over the world with their goals and just to be rock stars in their industry and get from wherever they are to where it is that they really, truly, ultimately want to be in the world, and to really impact people on a much, much bigger level. That is my heart. That is what I love to do. And that is what I get to do every single day.
Absolutely. So you have truly taken the quote serious, literally. Turn your vocation into your vacation, and you'll never work a day in your life, right? And not that you're not working, but you're putting in hard work in a place that you love. So it becomes fun work, right? So one of the things, you were a professor. You mentioned that you were a professor before that. And so most people they look at books as, okay, it's just a book, right? And you've been able to take some of those books and turn them into additional opportunities. Like you have a book out there with where it's been co-authored with many people, and that's creating opportunities for you. How do you, what's one tip? And I'll ask for just one tip, because I know I've been in coaching sessions with you, so I know you have hours and years of experience under your belt. What's one tip that you would give for someone who is new to take their book and turn it into a larger opportunity?
There is a strategy behind absolutely everything, whether it's your own book, whether it's a book you're co-authoring, whether it's just more or less a book project that you're a part of in some way or that you want to support. There's absolutely strategy in everything. And so you can leverage, when I say that, I mean that you can leverage everything, even if you're not even a part of the book, but it's a book project that you even want to support, in some way, that you can be the rock star and the advocate for whatever the purpose of the book is, not just necessarily about the book sales. I see so many people focused on just trying to make the sale that their messaging is completely not focused enough around what the purpose of the book is and about what the messages inside those pages are actually meant to teach. And so when you switch your mindset to stay focused on the actual amazing piece of messaging and major purpose of the book, rather than just your goal of trying to sell 100 books or 1,000 books or 10,000 books or whatever that is, your whole positioning changes. And this is something that I see a lot of people make mistakes on, because they're so focused on selling a lot of books that they actually get away from the true passion behind what is in between those pages. So when you continue to stay in the right mindset of the right messaging behind that, then when you do your Facebook Lives and when you send out your different offers to your email list, and when you enroll people into the passion and into the purpose behind the book, that becomes an opportunity for people to jump on the bandwagon of something bigger, a bigger purpose, a bigger opportunity behind just trying to help you sell books. It makes a very, very big difference in how you even view all kinds of opportunities that stem from the tool that the book really, truly is. And we've talked a little bit about that in our private coaching sessions as well. And when you literally approach it from the right mindset, you begin to see the different types of messaging very, very differently. There's something that I see that's very, very effective right now, especially in the most recent months, and that's to take a book with a strong message and actually, if it's a collaborative book, actually interview and do special segments with each one of the collaborative authors that are a part of that book, and then create a YouTube channel around that, or create some kind of a different asset that's a swipe file, or that becomes part of your course, or that becomes a part of something else that you're doing. Not enough people are really leveraging and repurposing their content. So even if you've only written a chapter in a bigger part of a project, there's still many, many ways that you can actually get creative with how to position yourself as the authority of not just the person who wrote the topic of that overall book, but how you're positioning yourself as the leader for the entire book project. So think about that on a much, much bigger scale. So if you're if you are a co-author, then think about how you can go ahead and reach out to all those involved in the book and have very special behind the scenes type of interviews. If it's your own book, because again, the strategies are going to be different and everything is about strategy and taking that intentional action. Is if it's your own book, then you might develop courses out of that. You might have special Facebook Lives where you break down the chapters or you break down the topics. You might develop your own guides or worksheets that go along, with the certain points that you want to teach, and really kind of turn that into a little bit of a mini course or a little bit of a deeper experience for the learning process behind just selling the book. So you asked for one. You should know me better than that.
I know.
I can't just give one, because there's so many amazing, amazing strategies and nuggets that are super, super simple that people just aren't doing.
And that's part of the reason that I wanted to bring you on, because a lot of people, like with what I do as far as coaching people, people come to me all the time and they're like, I got a book. And I'm like, okay, how many books do you have to sell to really get to your goal? And it's like, in order to get to this much, I have to sell this many books. But like you said, it's one, the mindset shift is like the book says, people over profit. So really focus on how you can help the people, and then the profits will come. But at the same time, repurposing that content. And that's something else I want to touch on with you, because you have some amazing, and I mean amazing, strategies for repurposing content. And you gave, I I wish I had my notepad right now, because you just gave about 5 or 6 of them in that short answer. But what are some things that people can do to repurpose content? You mentioned creating a YouTube channel. You mentioned the author interviews for the collaborative books. You mentioned mini courses. Why are these things important? Like how, not how do they do it, but why are they so important?
Everybody learns differently. Everybody processes information differently. And this is a little bit of my education brain coming out when I think about different learning styles, and when I think about different communication styles, that I really believe truly that it's not just about the book. It's
Mm-hmm.
not just about the course. It's not really just about the one thing, right? It's really learning to put the pieces together in order to strengthen the overall purpose behind what you're doing, that really ultimately strengthens the overall learning that you want to take place, or you wouldn't be doing it in the first place, the
Exactly.
transformation that you want for your clients. And so it's really learning how to put the right pieces together in order to strengthen that opportunity. Think about how much stronger it is when you have a book to also put together a very simple PDF guide, that
Mm-hmm.
highlights where they can fill in the blank on certain things. And they're beginning to reflect upon their own learning process in a different way, and they're engaging in that in a different way. Then think about when you can put together a few videos
Nice.
where you're building that relatability, you're building that comfort with them absorbing the information being heard while they watch you. So think about all those different pieces. And then just naturally in the world, we hear different statistics about how it takes somewhere between, approximately 7 times of media messages and of marketing messages before it really sinks in and before it
Exactly.
really gets your attention. So when you approach it from that perspective, you have to get the messages out to the people in more than one way, more than one time. And that's not just posting the link to buy your book over and over and over and over and over,
Mhm.
right? It's
Yeah.
it's it's really it's really capturing the essence of the messaging and the purposing in different types of social media posts, but different types of the way that you're communicating that. Maybe it's Facebook Lives, maybe it's actually recording some professional video content that goes with each one of the chapters in the book, or the specific nuggets that you pull out of that. Maybe it's interviewing supporting experts with the broken down topics in your book that elevate you as the authority in your space, but bring in that different perspective where the message can be heard and taught from basically just different lips. Because sometimes people buy from people they like, know, and trust. So you
Mm-hmm.
need to build that relatability with your audience, but at the same time build your authority in the space, which also comes from aligning yourself, with other people and with other opportunities, and then care so deeply about your mission and about your book and about the messaging that you're not in competition with bringing in somebody else who might be saying the right thing, because all that is bringing credibility to what you've already said. It
Exactly.
strengthens the message. It's not about the competition at all. And so I hear that from a lot of people. They're so afraid to bring in other media experts. Well, I'm not threatened by other media experts or other experts, within my space in which I work, because that just strengthens the overall. That just strengthens the messaging and the purpose and the strategies of of what I'm teaching. So a lot of entrepreneurs need to get out of that mindset. You know, why would I want to interview other co-authors in the book? Because that might drive traffic. They might like them better. No, no, no,
Large
no. You're
audiences.
still the person interviewing and positioning yourself as the authority, even in a co-authored book project. So a lot of this is mindset, but a lot of this is a little bit of creativity with figuring out what pieces, what tools need to fit together to strengthen your book and to strengthen your business and your overall authority in that space and what that looks like. And to remember that what works for one person isn't necessarily going to work for you. You need to be so crystal clear on your target audience and what it is that they want and how they learn, that it might be a book and a guide, or it might be a book and a video series, or it might be a combination of a few things. It might be offering, you know, free strategy calls to talk about certain aspects of the book. Whatever it is that is for you and your audience, own that. Absolutely go in, jump in with both feet, and don't get distracted by what everyone else is doing.
Exactly. I love all of what you just said. Because you're breaking it down. The strategies, not just the strategies, but also giving those simple steps. Because like you said, you see it so many times on Facebook. Buy my book next week. Buy my book next week. Buy my book. Okay, if nobody's buying your book, then there's a reason that people aren't buying your book. It might be that you haven't reached them yet, and you broke it down into take pieces of that message and turn it into a video, turn it into a PDF, turn it into an audio file, something that is going specifically for your audience, and then also don't worry about what everybody else is doing, because if you look at people as competition, then you miss the opportunity to collaborate with someone that their audience may be looking for something that you offer. Your audience may be looking for something that they offer. So I definitely, wow, I'm blown away with the information. Like I said, if people are not, if they do not have their pen and pad handy, then they've missed a lot of great content. I'm definitely going to leave this up for people to go back. Um, Next question. Wow, I'm still like, my mind is. I'm like, I want to get off the video so I can go and create some videos myself. um, so how did you get into what was it that motivated you to write your first book? And we'll go way back to the first one because I know now they're easier, but that first one was probably the, how do I do this?
Oh, for sure. And in fact, the answer might surprise you. So if we
Okay.
go way, way back to the very first book I ever wrote, not having a clue about the process. Okay. I didn't have like a publishing, I didn't have a publisher at the time. I didn't have a specific book coach, you know, or anything like that. It was just me really wanting to do something, really wanting to dive in and just figure it out. So I was in a huge learning curve. I didn't
Mhm.
shortcut the process at all. And at the time, yeah, I thought I was going to rip my hair out. But now I'm
I
so glad that I forced myself to learn all the intricacies of behind the scenes of how to do it. So if you go way back, what a lot of people might not know about me is that my very first book that took me 86 drafts and a huge learning process was actually a children's book.
Okay.
It was a children's book because part of what I build in my company now is teaching people about legacy and teaching
Mhm.
people how to like really live their life on purpose and build something bigger than just their business. And so about 4 years ago, I started to think about legacy very, very differently and trying to figure out what that means, you know, to me and what the footprint was that I wanted to leave on the world. And as an educator, I've always been very passionate about literacy and I've just experienced the ripple effect of increased literacy skills in the home and in the community and all that at different levels. And I've always volunteered with literacy coalitions in my community and been a part of all kinds of literacy efforts and helping raise millions of dollars and all kinds of stuff. But I really wanted to write a book, a very unique book for kids but I needed to research, like, how is this book going to be different, right? How is this book going to be different? So at the time, in my research, I found that there were a lot of different pieces of curricula to help teachers teach kids how to read, and there were parental books and guides to teach their kids how to read, but there was not a book that taught kids how to read and increase literacy skills within a fun storyline itself, to where if you didn't have a lot of help and a lot of support at school, at home, and in different places, that you could actually learn from the book itself. And so my very first book was a lot of research, figuring out where to even go about editing and publishing and all that fun stuff. So it took me months, and 86 drafts later. And I now am 3 books into a very special 10-book series that I call my Charlie series. And getting ready, my 3rd one will actually be out at the end of the year. So this is something that goes on in the back end that a lot of people don't necessarily realize as I'm building out, my legacy projects in literacy at a bigger level behind the scenes. But it was an amazing experience. And I don't regret it at all. So that book is designed as more or less a teaching tool, a teaching aid. And so there are very specific activities, and activities and worksheets and guidebooks that I created as an educator in the back of the book to support the literacy principles that I teach in the story.
Yeah.
Nice. So that might surprise you that my very first book is actually part of my children's series that started about 4 years ago. Now, my very first business type book as a business expert and as a business coach actually happened when I co-authored my very first book as a guest expert for a book with Kevin Harrington of Shark Tank.
Okay.
So that was my very first collaborative book. Of course, international bestseller, and there were all kinds of special events with Kevin. And Kevin and I have worked together on several occasions since then. And that was an amazing experience that, of course, was very different from my children's book. And so I was one of the co-authors of that book, and flew to California and did a whole bunch of book launching stuff in person. And that was a very special, amazing thing that really launched me into a whole different realm as an author, that put me into writing dozens and dozens, of books and magazines all over the world, because I also write articles in many different magazines as well. And so that kind of started my life, my career in a different kind of a way as a business expert and an author that continues around the clock. It seems I'm always writing new articles and new books, and that just catapulted me in a completely different way as an author. And so I'm grateful for both first experiences, because they continue to be vastly different and give me that different creative experience, which is fun.
Nice. And that you touched on legacy, you touched on how long it took, and I appreciate that, because what most people see, and that's, again, I'm still like blown away. Kevin Harrington of the Shark Tank, your first co-author book, the children's book, but not only is it a children's book, but all of the PDFs and things that you have in the back office for the book, which makes it not just a book, but an actual learning resource for the kids and for the educators. I love that. And when you mentioned legacy, that's one of the things that got me into where I am, because I started thinking about it. I can't pass this job on to my son, but I can pass when this empire is built and he's old enough. And I want to say, hey, I need you to go to business school or whatever, because you're going to be the one running this show. So he'll be set for life long before he needs to be set for life. I love that. And I know that we only have about 3 minutes left. So I want to ask, where can people find you? Like, how can they follow you? How can they get in contact with you? Because I know just the information, you gave information from repurposing content to how you actually got your book done, and the business strategies that, like, you are doing some amazing things. And I know you don't work, because at 2:00 in the morning, I'll get a message on Messenger hey, did you finish the homework? Did you finish the assignment? So I know you're always around the clock making it happen. How can people find you?
Absolutely. Well, the truth is that if you Google me, you can probably find me in many different places, but the easiest place to find me is lauriemcneil.com. And you can learn a little bit more about me, and then connect with me on all the different social media platforms by just going to one place, which is a lot easier. So www.lauriemcneil.com, and you can send me an email and connect with me, in many different platforms that way. And I definitely want to encourage people to go ahead and reach out to me. Send me an email, connect with me on social media platforms, send me private messages, whatever, because I really love to actually connect with people.
Absolutely. And one of the first ways that I met you was you have this amazing series for people who are looking for ways to re-strategize their content. Um, is that still something that is available if people want to get access to that?
Yes. So are you referring to Media Secrets? My
Mm-hmm.
Media Secrets course? Yes. So absolutely. For those of you who are interested in learning more about media, how to be a rock star with media, leveling up in all these different ways with books and magazines and videos and TV and all of that, go to mediasecrets.net, and that will put you on, it'll direct you to a free download that I have. You'll get emailed right away, and then that will also take you to the specific course information, and purchasing page for those of you who are interested in my course. And if you just want to go through my course for your own business strategy benefit, but then also take a look at how I've designed the course
Mm-hmm.
as it's a learning tool in itself, because many people don't even know where to start with how to even design a course and what goes in a course and what does that look like. Then
Yeah.
there's a lot of different ways that you can utilize just being a part of that course, not only for your own learning and growth, but really as an example for just use it as a template to build your own. Absolutely. I don't have a problem with that. I've got all kinds of templates and samples and stuff built into that course for you, and I want you to utilize that. So if you go to mediasecrets.net, you absolutely can purchase my course, get started right away, and become a part of my inner circle where you get all kinds of amazing value and nuggets from me for forever.
Right.
Forever. Once you're in my circle, there's no getting rid of me. You've got me forever. So it's a really great way to get started in completely leveling up your business with complete business strategies and rock solid media strategies. So mediasecrets.net will get you everything that you need to get started in that.
Exactly. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate you taking time. I know you have a very busy schedule. And um, what is one, I'll ask for one last thing. What is one tip or tool that you would give to a new author who is just getting started?
Don't be careful not to get too wrapped up in your head and the idea of perfectionism and thinking that, if this gets out there to the world, then it's people are going to judge me, and what are they going to think, and what if there's a typo, and there's all these fears that come into play with that. And I want to encourage you to just be okay with it not being perfect, for one, because there's just no such thing as a book being absolutely perfect. Most authors I know, there's something about it that they wish they would have changed, or that they could
Mhm.
have changed, or whether that's colors of the cover or the design on the inside or whatever it is. So get out of your head with the perfectionism, and don't let that be the roadblock that keeps you from actually using your gift that you were meant to use in the world to reach more people. Stay focused on your mission, stay focused on the purpose that gets you out of bed every morning, and have that faith over fear with just navigating that process. Wherever you are in your process, just start. Whether that's doing some mind mapping and writing down some ideas, whether that's kind of drafting out what you think the chapters might be, whatever that is, don't get stuck in paralysis by analysis in the form of perfectionism. Just start. Wherever you are, just start and navigate that process one step at a time. And don't be afraid to put something imperfect out in the world, because you show up in the world in exactly the right way that somebody needs. And somebody needs you to be authentic, and somebody needs you to be raw, and they're not looking for perfectionism. They're looking for a true problem that they have to be solved in a way that only you can. So don't get caught up thinking that it's going to go global and people are going to think that you're all these things that you're convincing yourself it's all in your head. It's absolutely all in your head. So get started, navigate the process, get that baby published, get it out to the world, have a solid strategy, and show up and be the rock star in the world that only you can be.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah.
So this is at this point, you gave so many nuggets. So like I said, for people who may just be tuning in or they're catching the replay, then at this point, I'm going to leave the replay up so people can go back and hopefully they have a pen and pad as they're watching it, because I'm going back as soon as we get off and put my pen and pad together. So if people's timelines start getting flooded with information from me and chapter excerpts and videos, then it's going to happen. One thing that I always like to do at the end of every Book Talk Live is I do a live giveaway. And so what I'm going to do is there's a $25 Cash App giveaway that I do so the next person, and this is for the viewers, the next person that actually comments cash, there will be a $25 Cash App giveaway. We'll get together after this call, and you will actually have $25 in your Cash App, and it's free.
Awesome.
Yeah. So one thing you mentioned while we're waiting on them is that it took you forever, or it took you 86 drafts of your first book. For those people who are interested, we also have a course. Okay, looks like Chip was the first one in. Della got in second. So Chip has the Cash App giveaway. But what I want to encourage people is to also visit us later if they are interested in getting their book out there. Just businessofbooksmastermind.com. There's a full program, just like my coach is telling you all. She's been working with me behind the scenes to up level this program. So anything that you've heard about it before, the next group that goes through is going to be blown away. And as always, Coach, thank you so much for your time. We got work to do. So
Awesome. I'm excited. Thank you so much for having me. It was fun. And yes, always happy to help build out strategies and help people with goals. And I love working with you, Sugar Ray. It's been an awesome ride and adventure, and you are absolutely, rising to the top, and I'm excited for you.
Thank you so much. Well, that concludes our Book Talk Live. We will see you guys next week, 3 o'clock Central Standard Time. Lock it into your calendars. All right.